everyone. Welcome into 2017. We made it.
We're here.
We made it through 2016 despite all odds. Everyone expected that extra second of 2016 to be the death of us all, and we made it.
Turned out okay.
And here we are in the safety of the Rebootleggers' house. I am your host, Scott Owen, with my other host,
I'm Frank Sarah.
Frank Stinko Sarah.
Yep. And what was yours? The Roadster?
The Roadster, which I love.
The Roadster.
Stinko and the Roadster.
Very good.
It's very good. Coming hot off of 2016. Hope y'all... Oh, I don't say y'all. I hope everyone had a nice holiday slash regular day slash week. Here's the thing. I saw a trailer. This is real. I saw a trailer for that Riverdale show, which is an Archie reboot, Frank. You know Archie?
Archie as in... Archie.
Archie as in Archie. From the comics.
Yeah.
The comics that you see at the grocery store. Betty and
Okay.
Veronica. I saw... so they're making a TV show on the CW, a For Reals reboot. And I watched the trailer, and it seriously looks like something we would have come up on this show. It is like... It's a gritty reimagining of Archie, not Archer, Archie, where like a murder happens and it rocks the town of Riverdale. Like, it is not at all the colorful, upbeat.
So it's like Twin Peaks again?
It's what it looks like. It looks like the aesthetics looks like Twin Peaks. And I can't believe that they didn't consult us, because it looks like something we would have come up with.
I mean, that's right up our alley.
Right up that alley.
Alley? We're up it.
Let me tell you where that alley is. Doesn't matter.
It's all the way up here. Up, down, all around. Left, right, left, right.
Excuse me. For those of you, for our readers out there, I apologize for the condition of my voice. I decided to usher in 2017 by getting a sickness. The plus side is I think it actually gives me a wonderful radio voice.
It's husky.
I can get real.
To be honest, it's sensual. I'll say it. We're grown men.
We can say sensual on this show. I feel like it gives me an air of NPR authority. That was. Can you
go ahead and ask me to donate some money for a tote bag?
That was Johannes Brahms, and that is just one example of the amazing content that we are able to provide for you free of charge because of the generous donations from listeners like you. And, it's that time of year. We don't like doing it. You don't like hearing it. But for just $300 a week, you can get 7 tote bags of varying sizes delivered to anyone you want. It could be as a goof. Could be as a punishment. However you decide. Because let's be real, nobody wants a tote bag. And it is probably the worst gift that you could ever get for doing a thing.
It can fit like a grocery.
I do not understand why literally every single fundraiser drive, the gift is a tote bag. Like, how is the default not a t-shirt? Like, why is tote bag the thing?
Production costs? I don't know.
I feel like, are tote bags cheaper?
I don't know.
I don't even know. All right, so...
They're pretty terrible.
Coming hot into 2017, Frank, what's the NBCW needs something big to kick off after our winter hiatus, because as you know, every network takes a winter hiatus.
Yep.
Where you'll do a winter finale,
and
it feels like the show is the season finale, but then it's like, oh no, we'll be back in like a
minute.
Yeah. So to avoid that dry spell and really get people through arguably the worst months out of the year, January and February, we got to provide that good content.
Good content.
That GGC. So what do we got for them?
Well, you know what's hot? And what's surprisingly still hot this very day? It's board games. I'm just going to end it for you.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's good, because
So,
I was going to say something else.
Yeah. Board games are toasty right now.
Toasty.
You know what movie I scrolled past but I didn't watch this weekend on the digital movie watcher?
Yeah,
It was
the DMW.
the DMW. It was Clue.
Oh yeah, I've seen Clue.
I rolled past that bad boy and I was like, wow, man, all the way back then, it's still kicking.
Okay, so that's for that's also a board game.
Yeah, I've heard that.
Okay, I actually saw there's a new version of Clue, and this is real. They replaced Mrs. White with frig. She's pink, but her name's not
Like
Mrs.
an
Pink.
old man.
No, everybody's young now. Mrs. White, used to be like she was a maid. She's like an old maid, and now she's like Mrs. or Ms. She's like
Ms.
Yeah, they're all young now.
She toasty.
Toasty is an interesting. Oh, Dr. Orchid. She's a woman. She's
a doctor.
Mm-hmm. So we have a doctor and a professor and a colonel. Only one mister. And then
Now, why are all these people in the same house? Did they ever explain that in the original?
in the movie or the book? Or...
No, in the there's a book.
Oh, there's a whole book series. There's like 13 books. I forgot about this.
Oh,
I forgot about it
boy.
until I mentioned it. Yeah, so
This is a secret treasure.
Yeah, each book had 10 mysteries in it. And this is, I believe, the premise of the game. Mr. Body, which is, a joke because he gets murdered, so he's just a body.
Because he's a body, yeah.
So Mr. Body invites his friends to a dinner party, and one of them murders him in the board game, and you have to figure out where Mr. Body was killed, which, I mean, I feel like you would know that.
His body got dragged around,
right,
like, grotesquely?
Apparently his body had been moved prior to the beginning of the game because you have to figure out who killed him in which room with which weapon. And then the last mystery of each book is that Mr. Body has been killed, and you have to figure out who it is. And then at the beginning, the first chapter, or like the prologue of every single book is it's like a note from Mr. Body saying like, no, they didn't actually kill me. I just fainted or something like that. And then he addresses like, it's weird that I keep having them over, but I've invited them to my house again.
Little humor.
Yeah.
Little injection.
So yeah, there's the books that have those. And then there's the movie, which is just only related to the board game in so much as they all have the names, but they're all aliases. So,
Ooh.
If you recall, let's go through the characters, Frank. You've got Mr. Green. Mr. Green, Professor Plum, Colonel Mustard. Those are the dudes. And then there's three ladies. You got Mrs. Peacock, Miss Scarlet, who's a bit of a bombshell, I think.
An unaccompanied woman?
Uh-huh. And then you also have Mrs. White.
Mrs. White?
White. And in the movie, they all like get summoned to this mansion, and they are given envelopes assigning them names, and they figure out like that they are all actually like somehow connected to the government. And it's supposed to be taking place in like the 50s, and so they keep mentioning like, or maybe it takes place in the 80s.
Communists.
Yeah, they mentioned there's a big thing where it's like you are all somehow connected, like fairly high up in the government, like and it's all these like everybody's connected somehow, and they also all have dirty blackmail secrets. They're all being blackmailed.
Ooh.
They're all being blackmailed, and so Mr. Body's like, I've brought you all here to blackmail you. And then they're all each given a gift, and each gift is one of the iconic Clue weapons.
Oh. Which are those are is they?
I was about to ask if you knew which they whiz.
So there's like a pipe.
You got your lead pipe.
A revolver.
Mm-hmm.
Give me a second. Like a dirty needle?
Incorrect. There's no dirty needle.
Shillelagh.
Nope. That's basically the lead pipe is the shillelagh.
Well, a shillelagh is traditionally carved from wood.
Okay.
You animal.
My mistake. Okay, so there's lead pipe. You said revolver. There's a rope.
Well, wait, let me... Okay, well, you're just going to tell me.
No,
tell me. Tell me. No, just tell me.
There's three more.
So here's something that doesn't seem very fair, is that 5 of the people are named after colors... But then Mrs. Peacock gets to be a peacock?
Well,
gets to be an animal?
Peacock is also type of color.
And what color is that?
Peacock blue is a color.
Is that real?
Uh-huh. But, so, in the new Clue, give me the other weapons. There's 6 weapons. There's 6 weapons,
There's
6
six,
characters.
so-
So you got your. What did I say? I gave you rope. So then there's also lead
you
pipe.
gave me rope, and I got lead pipe because that's a classic.
Classic.
And gun pistol.
And the gun pistol.
The gun pistol. And there's probably like a what are those called? Like a broadsword, like a very long bladed weapon.
There's a small bladed weapon, the dagger.
I was close.
It's.
Are you sure Dirty Needle's not one of them?
Yeah, like it's.
That seems
not.
like a really good one.
No, it's not.
Because like it works. All right. Especially if it's the 80s. I mean, come on.
Well, I mean, this game has been around for a long time.
Well, the board game. We're talking about the board game.
I mean,
I don't know. What
yeah.
are the other two?
The other
Like an old man's spectacles.
Nope.
I don't
yes, a haunted manuscript. No, the other two are Candlestick and Wrench or Spanner. Spanner in the UK. Interesting
Spanner
fact.
in Britland.
Clue in Britland is known as Cluedo. It's called Cluedo. Did you know that? Don't act like you knew that.
I didn't know that.
Don't act like that's not weird. What's a Cluedo? I don't know. Similarly, Where's Waldo is Where's Wally?
Well, that's. I mean, have you ever met a person in from the UK that's named Wally?
No. So why?
Me neither.
So why is his name Wally in the UK?
That's the other way.
Nope. That's incorrect.
Have you ever met a man named Waldo ever?
That's what I'm saying. I feel like if his name's Waldo, I have not. I feel like Waldo. There's Ralph Waldo Emerson. Anyway, in the movie, they're each given gifts, and then the power goes out, and suddenly Mr. Body, like you hear a gunshot.
So you give someone a present, and they open it, and they go, "Wow, a piece of lead pipe."
Yeah, it's
Thank
like a whole
you.
farce.
Thank you for the gift.
And
I appreciate the lead pipe.
and they like Mr.
Someone
Body
gave me a lead pipe as a present.
There's
Maybe they deserve it.
It's an okay movie. It's got some laughs. It did not do well at the time, and it became a cult classic in the 2000s, I believe. So I do think this is a good opportunity for us to bring it back. And now that we've got, I think we have to stay true to the new version of the board game with Dr. Orchid, and keep them all attractive. I'm not sure. I mean,
that's the NBCCW style.
NBCW style is, well, it's either very attractive or very old.
Super old.
Or babies.
Well, let's not splinter too much from the original vision.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So here's the thing. I had no idea that this existed in so many forms.
Yeah.
There's children's book series.
Mm-hmm.
There's board game. There's movie. Is there a rock opera or concept album about Clue?
Oh God, I hope so. Not that I know of, but I wish. So here's my question: for my informational purposes, which Wikipedia article am I allowed to use? The board game or the
or
film?
Clue film,
or both?
I feel like.
But only.
I feel like we got to do both.
Okay. Because
we have to take elements of both in our new creation. We have to stay true to the heart of the game.
Mm-hmm.
While tastefully, what's the phrase? Tipping our caps to the movie.
So what are we rebooting about this game?
Someone's dead.
So here's, what's hot? This could actually turn into a real good-ish thing. We'll probably have to ruin it at some point. But what's hot is, I think they're called legacy board games. Is that what they're called?
Oh, the ones that persist through playmates.
Yeah, like Pandemic Legacy or Risk Legacy. Yeah, so you'll do something, you'll play the game once, and things that you do, you'll tear up cards that can never be used again.
And you open pouches.
Yeah.
And you're not allowed to close the pouch.
Right, you cannot close the pouch.
And it's Russia got nuked. The next time you play, Russia is still nuked. That's Risk Legacy, for instance.
Yes. And then Pandemic Legacy. Well, I think Russia could also get nuked in Pandemic Legacy, depending on how the virus affects people.
Yeah, I like this.
So what do you think about... I want to pitch something to you.
Some of the pouches are DVDs.
Oh, geez.
With scenes in them. Are you feeling it?
Well, yeah, you're getting ahead of yourself. I didn't even get to the pitch yet.
Oh, I'm sorry. Continue.
Here's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking Clue
Cluedo.
Legacy. Yeah, Cluedo Legacy.
Cluedo Legacy.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that is now. Now is that it? Are you done?
Yeah, that's my pitch.
That's the whole.
Yeah.
Okay. So some of the pouches, they've got DVDs in them.
Okay. DVD pouches. It's like a very common now.
Now, and some of them have ingredients that must be consumed. There's cards to rip.
The DVDs are just sitting loose in like velvet dice bags.
Well, I mean, it's a sealed pouch because once you crack the seal, you can never get it closed again.
What kind of pouch are you? See, when I hear pouch, I seriously envision like a drawstring bag. Are you talking about like a mailing envelope?
Like the plastic thing a McDonald's toy came in when we were kids.
Oh, that's a pouch to you. Okay.
Like a whoosh. That is a pouch.
Pizza pouch.
That's none of that as any. What? What is that? Tell me that that's real.
A pizza pouch?
Mm-hmm. Give me that.
I think it's like a calzone.
Oh, see, so you were thinking that these DVDs would be in an edible bread crust.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking of. My brother went to Italy once, and actually he's been there a couple of times, but they went to a restaurant where they had like English translations next to a lot of the foods, and one of them, it was definitely a calzone, but the thing was translated as a pizza bag.
I liked that very much.
Pizza pouch. So yeah, I'm thinking maybe the DVD you got. It's like you're in prison, right? And somebody has smuggled you in a file in your cake.
So wait, are the people playing the game are in the game?
Maybe
you have to write down the names of the 6 people playing, and you're the suspects, and one of you does do the murder.
So there's a digital element to it. You think maybe it takes?
Yeah. So it's sort of like have you played like Mafia or Werewolf or The Resistance?
Yeah.
There's one person is informed that they are a sadistic murderer, and they've got to keep playing the game and play it cool.
Here's what I'm thinking. At the beginning, so the game comes with blank cards. Everything's character cards are all blank. Room cards, blank. And you have to, before you can even play the game, you got to feed those into your printer. And the printer, they only work with special Parker Brothers printers. And you got to print out your own cards with your own content all over it. So like
CCW.
Unless I don't know if the technology's there yet. Do we have like
laminating printers?
Or well, we do have those. I was wondering, do we have like flexible LCD cards that can change displays? Like an e-ink card.
I think Samsung might have some good stuff coming out, but it's not enough to mass produce and stick in board game boxes.
Maybe we can talk to Samsung about that and kind of pioneer there.
And really get what you're thinking is that they pull out one of our flexi screen identity cards and they scan their thumbprint, and it gives them, and they say what their identity is, and then whenever they try to play, you got to put your thumbprint in, and it says like, "I remember you. You're,
Calvin.
Kevin. You're Kevin."
And so I mean, for those who don't know, the game of Clue is played with cards where you will draw from a deck, and it'll say like you'll go into a room and there'll be a card in that room that says like which you all get dealt cards. You get dealt weapons, characters, and rooms.
And they're all in card form.
And those, I believe, are people and things were not involved in the murder.
Because they're not in the murder place.
Right. And then you explore the rooms and you'll draw cards. And so I'm thinking like you open the box and it like retinal and face scans everyone and the cards in the deck.
Everyone in the room. Like a camera on like a little stalk comes up out of the box and it is scanning the room for players. So like there are more than 6 people. Some people have to leave. You don't have 6 people. Come back when you have 6 people.
Right.
Okay, I've got your retinas. Now we can play.
Right. Everyone connected to the internet. Stuff like that. Okay.
You have a pacemaker. You can't play. Find someone else.
So we're Clue Legacy featuring the proprietary Samsung
True Identity screen system. If it's not Samsung, we'll just find somebody in China to do it.
Okay. So we've got. So here's so it'll put you in the game, and it'll to the point where there is like so I had the Nintendo version of Clue. They made a video game of the board game.
Incredible.
It's literally just playing
because we're making a board game of the movie of the board game.
It's literally just and so in that, like, when you would make accusations, it would like show little scenes where it would like kind of narrate. It would be like, Mrs. White was cleaning the conservatory, and it shows her just like standing there, and it's like, she picked up the knife, and then it shows like her hand grabbed the knife, and then it's like, and then whether or not she actually did it, like, it'll show like the knife come down, and then the police are arresting her, or if she didn't do it, a character who has evidence exonerating her will like jump in the way. And so I'm thinking, like, you've got a tablet. You have to have a tablet to play this game, and the tablet somehow real time animates each person in the room like committing heinous murders
all at the same time.
Well, depending on what scenario you are attempting to convince others is happening.
To make this easier, we should probably just package a tablet device with the board game. That's pretty locked down.
I guess.
Because if it's an app that people can download, then people can download it without buying our game, and that makes no sense.
Yeah, but we could make the app very expensive. I just feel like, I think the game, it can't be. It has to be both. The app does not only exist on the tablet. The tablet is only there to display these heinous murders. You still got to have that board.
I mean, I like where you're coming from. So the board is electronic and like maybe, I guess, Bluetooth. What is it?
Yeah, Bluetooth, NFC.
Mm-hmm. All of that. And cameras, obviously.
Cameras. You have to set up like at least 4 different cameras around the table, and those we will package.
It's got to be able to digitize all the people who scan their thumbprints into the ident cards.
Yes, and those we will package with the board game. We'll have 2 editions. We'll have the edition without the cameras, and we'll have the edition with the cameras. But you can only play the game with the cameras. The
edition without the cameras is just because you can't play the game, but you want to buy the cameras separately, which will be coming out at Christmas.
I had no intentions of selling a version of the cameras without the game.
I like it, because then they'll say, wow, I didn't do my research.
Yep.
That's my fault.
That's on them.
And then they'll buy the full game.
And so they'll be set up on like big boom mic mounts, big tall tripods around the table to get, a full clear view.
And if their thumbprint ever leaves the ident card,
you got to be holding that card the whole time. Also, we do not provide cables or mounting equipment for the cameras.
I mean, it's ridiculous.
And the cameras have to have a constant unobstructed view of the board at all times. So it is
no heads popping in,
no hands moving pieces,
no pizza pies,
no pizza pouches, and so
no pizza pouches.
So this is let's get into the legacy aspect of this. Mm-hmm. Well, first, I don't know what. So we're rebooting this. What's the reboot? Are we keeping the same story here?
Well, insofar as a man was murdered,
okay,
and everyone in the house isn't allowed to leave.
Now, does that mean we require 7 players? And one player has to be just the dead guy, and he doesn't get to play, but if he ever leaves the room, the game stops.
I mean, that really seems like... Because it's got to be realistic.
Mm-hmm.
I really think there's no way to avoid that.
Mm-hmm.
It's got to be 6 ident cards, and then 1 biometric reader toe tag for the dead man, the dead body man.
You got to wear the toe tag. Obviously, you don't have to actually be dead, because, that's
actually not recommended. The various government agencies have required that we specify that the man should be alive.
Yes. We cannot stress that enough. All players should
be alive. The biometric toe tag reader will measure just basic things, heart rate, surface temperature. It'll just make sure that the dead boy is okay throughout the entire multi-session length of the Legacy Clue game.
Correct. Now, it sounds like we're rebooting this to now have no story at all, other than we're making the players themselves witness digitized, hypothetical, heinous scenes of them murdering each other.
One of the players was told by the game troller director that they did do the murder, and how and where and why when.
But I'm saying,
With
like,
what?
when different players explore different scenarios that they're checking evidence against, that tablet will show them that scenario in its hypothetical, very realistic
all the way
glory.
to the end.
Right.
And that's why the reason the body has to stay, the reason that the boy playing, the living, the alive man, the perfectly okay person,
he's not dead,
playing the body, who is not dead, he's simply pretending to be dead. The reason they still be there the entire time is because all the cameras have to keep re-digitizing him.
Yep.
And making him get murdered.
Here, Frank, I have what I think is a good idea, and I'm going to give it to you right now.
Give it to me.
Okay, I don't. Here's what I'm thinking. We obviously want to maintain the cross-media element of this legacy game. And so instead of each so what we'll do, as we know, as we've established, we have the technology to, scan these people's faces and craft very realistic and intricate scenarios digitally that look like they are real. And so as the players play this game, and this game will take upwards of, I want to say
36-hour sessions at least.
Oh, that's a lot.
This is a legacy game.
Well, yeah. So what I was thinking was, hear me out on this. A single session of the game. And here's oh man, this is going to be so good. So, most legacies only apply to the box that you bought. Risk Legacy, that only applies to my Risk Legacy. Clue Legacy applies to every copy of the game ever sold.
That's a lot of dead boys. That's a lot of perfectly fine people.
Here's how it
pretending
works.
To be dead boys.
And then as we wish to maintain our cross media, here's how it'll work. A single playthrough of the game takes at least 12 hours, where each hour will be made digitally into an episode. So each playthrough is a single season that then gets broadcast on the NBCW based on the choices and events that the characters participate in the board game.
Amazing. And that gives us a use for the cameras and the microphone investment that we're providing.
That is purely just to capture
when they open
face.
Open the lid, there's a little piece of tape, and in the smallest legal microprint, that is an appearance waiver for us to use their likenesses.
Yes. And they are given script cards to read from as things happen.
And some of them are advertisements for products that will be digitally inserted into the show. Some of them are things that seem nonsensical, like we'll be right back after these commercial messages. But
Correct.
They're going to do it because they want to win.
Now, okay, so let's go through what a season of this show would look like. I feel like season 1, is your typical, it's your regular Clue.
It's just a
murder.
boy.
A murder happens, and a murder is solved.
Well, a murderer is arrested, but the dead man can't confirm or deny, really, can he?
No, but I mean that's never really been how our justice system works, but that's fine. So then season 2, I guess, Clue now becomes a game of dealing with being arrested as a murderer. And
it's like getting a public defender because you can't afford an attorney.
Okay.
Finding out that all your assets are frozen while you're in jail and you have no job.
Okay, so we're looking at season 1 becomes playthrough.
It has to be the same 7 people or it all shuts down.
No, actually, here's how it works.
No, for that instance of the game.
So here's how it works. It's whoever finishes each season first gets to be the broadcasted group.
Yes.
So the season 2 game obviously doesn't
without
come out
cheating because we're making
we are watching the heck out of you.
You cannot cheat. You can't just be like, hey, who did it? Which of you guys did it? And then they'll be like, hey, we solved it. We solved it in 30 seconds flat.
Yep.
And then our review team will go, we'll see about that.
And we'll say
they go to the prodigious surveillance
I think
game footage. Game footage It's not surveillance. It's game footage that they've opted into.
Correct.
And they go back to it and they go, "You cheated. You're out.
That's exactly
your legacy is lost. The game incinerates."
That's exactly correct.
We activate the small thermite charge in the game, and it destroys all the equipment.
Mm-hmm.
They can't play ever. They're blacklisted. They try to swipe their card at a Toys R Us. You can't buy this game.
Mm-hmm.
You're out. You're out.
Okay, so what we've got is season 1. You've got your standard murder mystery, kind of a mystery thriller. Who did it? We're all trapped in a house together, but drawn out over a single season. Now, I say it only has to be at least 12 because there are many good shows that have 12 episodes a season, and that's fine. Season 2 then, I guess, jumps genres into a more Law and Order type, where now we're dealing with this person has been arrested, and they are now, are they in prison? Are they living a prison life? Is it another murder? Are they trying to get a lawyer? Is it court hearings?
They cannot let go of their ID card.
Does it become
at any point?
That's correct. Does it become a Phoenix Wright type game where now they are?
Or does it just become a series of streaming enabled shows?
Oh yes, a series of shows. Now,
do we go back to the DVD pouches? Does everyone who wants to see it get in the mail a DVD pouch containing 18 minutes of footage?
That could be it. I feel like we got to get more into specific story elements as a reboot show.
Well, the problem is that there's literally no story. It's just a board game.
That has never stopped Hollywood before. Have you ever heard of Battleship, Frank?
I've heard of Battleship.
That is a movie based on a board game.
I mean, their story was, hey, look, we got Rihanna.
Their story was, you sunk my battleship. If we can reboot Battleship with a story, we can reboot Clue with a story. I like the pizza pouches. I like the idea of, a multimedia, cross-media thing. It should absolutely be. So here's what I'm thinking. What if it's just a regular TV show where the plot is informed by player choices? That's not great.
Yeah, well, the legacy is that if enough people say that it was the lead pipe, then in the episode it was the lead pipe in the TV show.
So this is like a Twitch plays.
Sort of, except that we control the inputs.
Let me go
a little bit.
Let's go to the Wikipedia intro paragraph to see if there's not something there that we can reboot. So Cluedo, known as Clue in North America, is Wikipedia a primarily British organization because they always seem to prefer the British versions of these. Devised by Anthony E. Pratt from Birmingham, England. And here's my favorite part about this game is that it was manufactured by Waddingtons. And that is frankly just the best name.
It's pretty hilarious.
It's wonderful. And it's been relaunched and updated several times. Currently owned and published by American game and toy company Hasbro. Oh, boy.
Frank, we're taking on big business.
Frank, do you know what else Hasbro owns?
Most things.
Let me tell you what else Hasbro owns. G.I. Joe and Transformers. You know what I'm thinking?
So somebody has killed Starscream.
This is now a reboot.
So to clarify, we are planning to purchase the entire intellectual property of both of these things from Hasbro, or we're just gonna take on City Hall.
We are gonna convince them
fair use and parity.
We are gonna so thoroughly convince them at the money making prospects of this show that they are going to beg us to let them broadcast it on the NBCW.
I like it, and I think we can do it.
So, according to Wikipedia, the object of the game is to determine who murdered the game's victim, Dr. Black.
Starscream.
Dr. Black in the UK version, Mr. Body in the North American versions. In our rebooted version, it is Starscream. Now, well, hang on. Let's just consider this. Who would care if Starscream got murdered?
Optimus Prime. Because he always cares.
Okay. Mm-hmm. So each player assumes the role of one of 6 suspects. So here's my question. Should we even worry about the board game aspect of this? Let's just make it a show, and then we can, release a regular board game
Let's
later.
make it a murder mystery that's called Clue, Transformers, Who Killed Starscream?
GI Former Joes. Because, we gotta open it up for, Snake
Eyes. We'll get to GI Joes, but I feel like that's just gonna be Jag. Have you seen Jag?
I've got the entire... Yes.
Okay. I feel like doing G.I. Joe is just gonna be Jag.
Okay.
Or NCIS: The Army.
Okay. So
now,
G.I. Joe comes in
what
in
I
season
want to know,
2.
What I want to know...
Mm-hmm.
What I want to know, Scott,
mm-hmm.
is who killed Starscream.
Now tell me first, is this a movie or a TV show?
It
a movie series, a film series, or a ongoing show?
I think for the opening gambit, I think still has to be a show. But then from there, we can make a video game, board game, maybe a book.
Okay. So here's what I'm thinking.
Series for children.
Okay, so we've got. This is a good intro. Let me paint you a word picture. Nighttime.
Mm-hmm.
Raining.
Starscream's body.
No. Cop cars outside of a house. Big house. Mansion.
Big enough to fit a Transformer. It's got to be big.
But you don't know it's a Transformer. You just know.
But the house has to be big enough for a Transformer.
That's correct, Frank. Just for a little bit, I want you to take off your rebootlegger hat, and I want you to put on your I am watching this for the first time hat as I paint you this word picture.
Okay, give me a. All right.
Cop.
It's on.
Cop gets out of the car, goes up to the. He's a detective, clearly, because he's not in uniform. He just has a badge dangling around his neck.
Classy. Fabulous
coat, wonderful hair, despite the rain. He or she could be either. Haven't decided on the casting yet. There goes up the stairs to the front door, and there is a regular beat cop in his uniform, and he says, "Thank God you're here. It's not pretty," and wordlessly goes into the door, passes by an open doorway, and in that room you see several people looking distraught. A cop is interviewing one of them, and somebody walks up to our detective and says, "What a night for to have a party and then get murdered," so that we can establish that this is a party
in which a murder occurred.
And the detective says something like, "Yeah, with this crowd, that sounds like a good thing. That I wouldn't, getting murdered here would be like, that would be nice, because then I wouldn't have to be at this party anymore." And then the other guy's like, "Oh man, good one." And then he says, "So where's the body?" And he takes the detective over, and the detective says, "We got any leads?" And he says, "Only that one of the guests did it." And then the detective says, "Well, somebody get Cybertron on the horn." And then we pan over to see a giant robot body lying dead in just the biggest room in the house. And then titles.
Clue, Transformers, Starscream is dead, who did it?
Yes, that's the one. Starscream is dead, who did it? So then we got a wonderful series of crossover shenanigans between, the Clue characters and the Transformers.
This is a perfect opportunity. There's a murder to solve. There's a Moida to solve.
A Moida.
Who can show up? Our beloved DCU favorite, Ebenezer Scrooge. Detect PI.
Oh man, so you're telling me this is a DCU?
So it's time. It's everything. Everything is DCU now.
Everything.
It's time for him to have seen it.
He has seen it, and
you remember his catchphrase. I've seen it.
I do remember the catchphrase. That's the other thing, is we don't see the detective's face until
it's just like his like heavy combat boots and like the cigar in his mouth, but not his whole face.
You're right. And then we see his face, and it is Ebby.
It is Ebenezer Scrooge.
The knees.
Who was called in This might as well just take place in England now, right?
It can be wherever, planes exist.
I mean, people. Well, I'm talking about jurisdictional issues.
Well, I mean, this involves a transformer. That seems international.
It's space jurisdiction, which Ebenezer Scrooge just recently transferred to.
He's been put on the Transformer space jurisdiction, and he can travel via space bridge.
Mm-hmm.
Oh boy.
Or space rail.
Oh boy. So, oh boy, Frank.
So this all comes together.
Okay, so then we've got, oh boy.
And there's lots of clues. That's why we have to keep the clue.
So episodes will feature him traveling between Cybertron and Earth. We'll have
following clues.
Correct.
And like dismissing clues as he moves from room to room.
Should we keep the same 6 suspected weapons?
Would any of them do literally anything at all, even
That's
a
my
little
question.
bit, to Starscream?
Should we keep them and just encourage a suspense of disbelief? Like, you're already believing that...
You're already watching a man solve a robotic murder.
Yeah, you're watching a movie about a robot that turns into a plane, and you're telling me you don't believe that you don't believe that a little knife could kill that plane man?
I got it.
Okay.
I got it.
Okay.
All 6 items are named the same, but they are like super crazy Cybertron devices.
I like it.
So like the candlestick, capital T, capital C, is this like
it's a
giant
flamethrower,
like battery thing from Robotland.
Yeah. The lead pipe is actually just a really
it's just
big
a
lead
lot.
pipe.
It's just a lot of lead, and it blocks all the it blocks like the X-rays the Transformers use, and it's not good.
The lead pipe is actually that's the name of a Transformer.
Oh, a man used another man to kill a robot?
They'll be like, "What do you think? Do you think the lead pipe did it?" And he's like, no."
Yeah. Oh, he like gets up. Like you think it's an inanimate object, and then he's like, "Hey, I'm right here, buddy."
It's a really big lead pipe too.
Yeah.
And
it's Transformers sized.
With most murders, you're able to tell. With most murders, they're able to tell how they were killed. So I mean, how do we make it a mystery what weapon they were killed with? Because usually, someone gets stabbed to death, you can usually tell that's not lead pipe wounds.
What if,
Are all the weapons Transformers?
I think...
/ just regular people's nicknames?
Maybe all 6 of the items, the way they do a thing to a Transformer, it all looks the same.
Okay, that's fine with me.
So it's like, man, because see, there's a really big list. Like, there's a lot of items in the house, but Ebenezer Scrooge, the master detective that he is, says, based on the entry into the chassis and based on like the oil spray pattern in the room, I've narrowed it down to these 6 items that would all have killed him the same way.
Okay. And then we will have different so also what we'll be told is this is not where Starscream was killed. We can tell that his body has been moved here.
Does Transformers have like teleporting or boom tubes?
Yeah, it's called the space bridge.
He got space bridge to this room from somewhere else.
We'll go to different locations called, the billiard room, and
yes,
it'll be tracking all of Starscream's
and some of
last
them will
known
be clever.
Locations. Yeah, like the conservatory is just like, I don't know. It's like a whole Cybertronian nightclub.
Mm-hmm.
And then
or like the library is like Libs Rary. It's the name of like a hot dance club.
Yeah, and then like the study is like it's like a
Stu's D. It's a hot dance club.
It's like a librarian's nightclub. Mm-hmm. And then you've got like the the hallway is it's like a nightclub.
Mm-hmm. And the lounge speaks for itself.
And
obviously.
the lounge
nightclub.
is an office building where they do most of the.
But the basement of it, nightclub,
is a nightclub,
secret nightclub.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
that only Ebenezer Scrooge's a very attractive, manly self can gain access to with like winks and like looks over his shades.
He's like, I'm Ebenezer Scrooge.
Ever heard of me?
Cybertron crime.
Have you ever heard of me?
Have you ever heard of me?
And they'll say, oh, yes, I have.
Is this a movie? This is a movie.
This is now a movie.
Okay.
The production values have skyrocketed.
Okay.
This is now definitely a movie.
Okay, good. Because we're at like... Okay, so this is a movie. So let's talk about characters. Ebby Scrooge.
You got Evie. The dead man, the dead robot man is Starscream.
Marley Jacobson makes a cameo. Maybe it's just like a phone call.
Does fan favorite from the Christmas movie David Copperfield show up?
David Copperfield does show up because here's the thing with David Copperfield. He is our link to every single DCU.
Yep. Fans love him. His movies are... Well, the book that we put out that's based on the movie that's not out yet has been very successful.
Right. So, talk to me about Transformers. What Transformers are in this movie?
What Transformers are in this movie? Bass Drop.
Classic.
Floor Zoom.
Floor Zoom. Love him. Love Floor Zoom.
Starscream's dead.
Starscream's dad?
Yeah, he's grieving.
Mm-hmm. And his name is...
Is Dad Starscream.
Starscream Senior? Father?
Yeah, well... Yeah, Starscream Father's pretty good.
His name is Mr. Starscream.
Mr. Starscream.
Mm-hmm.
That's my... Because Starscream would say, "Oh, don't call me Mr. Starscream, that's my father's
Exactly
name."
Right.
So then when he shows up and he says, "I'm Mr. Starscream," they immediately, Starscream talked about you all the time.
Right. You're his father.
You're his father.
Okay.
Robots have parents.
Talk to me about... Have we discussed casting for Ebby Scrooge?
We haven't. It's hard to find a perfect, grizzled, attractive man.
Mm-hmm. Now, here's
an
my
old
question.
young man.
A
young old man?
Does this fit into the continuity?
He's 50 but 30.
Right.
But 20.
Uh-huh. Does this movie fit into current Transformers continuity as well? The Transformers movies, or is it?
I'm gonna hit you with a little editorialization. What continuity?
Is it part of those movies, or is it unrelated to the existing?
If we can sign Marky Mark as Marley Jacobson, maybe.
That was my question. Is Marky Mark going to be in it? But here's the problem. So if Marky Mark is in it, he's either got to. If he's not his current character, that means this is new.
He shows up. He shows up as the buff science man.
That was my question.
He becomes Ebenezer Scrooge's Q to borrow from James Bond.
Now, despite the fact that he's kind of, I guess he is.
He's a scientist. He puts on glasses and he makes robots. He's a scientist.
I forgot that he is a science man who
puts on glasses and he knows about rockets.
Okay, yeah. So Mark Wahlberg from Transformers is in it. And he makes rockets.
And the John Goodman robot, he makes an appearance with the metal cigar. That's actually a bullet. That's a cigar that's a bullet.
So this takes place before Transformers 4. Because doesn't that guy die?
They rebuilt him.
Oh, okay. Because they are just robots.
Yeah, he's just a robot. So all they do is they take his transformium personality core and they just jam it on into another robot body.
That is the science. That's how that works. Okay.
Mm-hmm. So Mark Wahlberg knows all about it.
Uh-huh. Okay. So then, all right, we've got who did it?
Well, that's up to
corporate.
Yeah. That is what Ebenezer Scrooge finds out at the end.
Mm-hmm. But I'm wondering, who did it? Are we gonna figure that out now?
Well, it's not Mr. Starscream.
No.
It's not David Copperfield. He just shows up as a cameo.
Right. Well, yeah.
It's not Ebenezer Scrooge, and it's not Marky Mark.
So
Mark Wahlberg.
We've got
Marky Wahlberg.
We've got the iconic bass drop and floor zoom.
Mm-hmm. I think I don't want to get really political, but I feel like floor zoom has the most to gain from Starscream's death.
Mm-hmm.
Are there other Transformers? Because we only have 2 suspects.
I think there will be other Transformers for sure. I mean, he's going to go to Cybertron at some point. You got to see, everybody's going to be really wanting.
Do we get a cameo by the Prime, the man himself, the Optimus Prime? Just a little like thanks for your help at the very end. Like the medal giving ceremony at A New Hope. He shows up and he says like Ebenezer Scrooge, like thank
you for your
thank you with Super Bunch.
Because now, so does this mean are the Decepticons and Autobots no longer fighting? Does it matter? Maybe
Megatron thanks Ebenezer too.
Yeah.
Maybe Starscream's murder was so heinous, Scott. It transcends their petty squabbles.
Ooh.
And they put it all on hold.
What about this, Frank? The Autobots and Decepticons have long come to a peace agreement. And it is a bit of a shaky peace, but it is prosperous. Everybody's happy with it. And this murder threatens to reignite the war.
Uh-huh.
And so
Floorzoom was bored with peace, and he lives for the combat.
And here's what we got. We got a new Transformer main character, Crouch Parts. No.
Sam.
Wrench Boy is
Wrencher.
I think Wrench Man.
But it might get confusing though because he's not a man.
Wrenchman.
Well, he's not a boy either.
Maybe he's the first. No.
Let's not get into that territory. Not in movie one. Not in movie one.
So how about this?
He's named Robot.
Well known. He is the son of a well-known bipartisan Transformer.
Mm-hmm.
And his name
Peacebot.
Peace what?
Peacebot is his father.
Peacepot?
Peace Robot is Mr. Peace Robot is his father.
Okay, Peacebot is better than Peacepot, which I thought you said.
Mr. Peace Robot is his father.
His name
Peabot. His name is the unaggressor.
Robot Jeff.
Robot
Jeff has been accused of this murder.
Mm-hmm.
And
it turns out falsely.
He has no memory of the situation. He was just with the body. And
yeah, he was doing a routine memory check.
Yes, and so
he was powered into standby mode.
Yeah, and so Ebby Scrooge must prove his innocence lest a new robot war begins. And then this is also Clue, so we've already established that. So Transformers and Clue,
the former two sides are each now they've got like their castle each on the opposite side of the Earth.
Mm-hmm.
So if the war began, they would start fighting, and Earth would be in the middle, and they would just be like,
Mm-hmm. All right. So he'll go to at least 6 different locations.
Mm-hmm. For 6 different weapons,
and he'll be told only. So here's what it is: only 6. There's only 6 things that could have killed this robot, and then they list them all out. We got the knife, which is a big robot,
like a sword blade, but that's also a chainsaw laser.
It's actually just like a big gun. The knife is just a big gun.
It's just a big.
And then we got the revolver, which is a big sword, but the blade spins around.
Yes, it spins around, like a drill blade along its y-axis.
Yeah. About the Y, and then so then you got the rope, which is another technological cool thing.
Mm-hmm. It does like dangerous stuff to Transformers.
Mm-hmm. The candlestick and the lead pipe.
Energy blasts.
Right, and we know it couldn't have been. Wait, is that all 6 of them?
Is that? Did we miss one? I think we missed the dirty syringe.
Nope, that's still not a thing in Clue. Knife,
Uh,
rope, lead pipe, candlestick.
But here's our chance because it's perfect.
Knife, rope,
Do you want to get stuck with a dirty needle?
And they'll know from the beginning that the wrench didn't do it. They'll rule the wrench out immediately.
Yeah. Oh, the first body. He goes to visit the wrench and he's like, damn. And he puts his like fingers on the bridge of his nose because the wrench is dead.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Because the wrench was a living transformer, not a weapon.
Right. And only these 6 weapons could have done it. And they were all under Autobot confiscation. It's not looking good. I don't know. It's not looking good. So he's got to figure out who did it with what and prove Jeff Robot.
Jeff.
He's got to prove his innocence. That's a pretty good reboot.
Especially if we can actually get any Transformers to come and be in the show.
I think the Transformers will show up. They're pretty open to new things. You'll get, just give me some other, well-known Transformers characters who will be in the show. This movie, that is.
All of them.
You've got
Axe.
Legs. You've got
John Goodman.
John Goodman. You've got
Bumblebee.
Crank Flask.
Bumblebee. He's one.
Bumblebee and his buddy the Hornet.
Mm-hmm.
You'll have
the Dinobots.
You'll have.
Is it one of them called like
Grimlock? Slag.
Grimlock. Yeah, that's what I was thinking of. Who's he?
He's the Tyrannosaurus Rex.
Oh, beautiful.
You'll have Bottle Snatcher.
Gryffindor.
Yep, Gryffindor. You'll have Smash Mouth.
Bender.
Mm-hmm.
Will he show up?
Yeah, and this
Jet Blast.
Nickelback, and
so many of the Transformers.
Hoobastank, and it'll be it'll
be all of the previous ones that we mentioned and all the other ones we didn't.
Mm-hmm. And it'll be great.
It's gonna be one of those things where like we say every Transformer, but there's like one scene where there's a big crowd.
Yeah.
And then that'll count, but there's really just like 3.
It'll be like the Pokemon movie that boasted every Pokemon, but most of the appearances were like during the Pikachu short film at the beginning.
Yeah.
During like those like intercut transitions where they just showed a bunch of Pokemon walking on the screen. All right. And so at some point we should probably cast Ebby Scrooge, but that's not our job.
We'll let it sit.
That's not our job.
Because there's no point in not finding the perfect man boy, a 50-year-old who is 30.
Correct. He's so gorgeous. All right. That was pretty good. I liked that. What else we got? Do we need anything else before we polish this off?
Final title, it's still going to be Clue, Transformers, The Death of Starscream, and Ebenezer Scrooge Mystery.
Okay. That's fine. Give it to me just one more time. Let me hear it for real.
Clue, Transformers, The Death of Starscream. And then subtitle, smaller letters underneath that, and Ebenezer Scrooge Mystery.
That's pretty good. I like that. I'm into that.
And then at the end, so they find out that it was floor zoom, and then the end after the credits, it says what does it say? It says somebody has to return for the DCU. Every movie has to introduce a new thing. It says Robot Jeff will return in David Copperfield the movie.
Davy's getting his own movie?
Eventually. He's got to eventually.
Okay.
It's got to be the culmination, because he's the Link. He's going to show up in every movie, and then he's going to have like a 10-part epic saga.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
In like the 2040s, like way at the end.
Yeah, that works. Cool. All right, I say we ship it, package that up, ship it off to corporate.
Cut it, print it, put the DVDs
In the pouches.
In the pouches.
That's exactly right.
Mail them off.
Send those pizza pouches to corporate.
Pizza DVD pouches. Combos.
Pizza DVDs. All right, cool. Well, hey, thanks everybody for listening. Welcome to 2017. A quick note. We have recently started using PodTrack for our metric tracking, just to get some better data on who's listening and how they're listening. So if you like the show and want to help us out, go to expospeak.com/rebootleggers/survey. That is where our podcast lives, and we've got a survey that you could fill out just for some listener information so that we can get a better idea of who's listening. Don't worry, we're not like keeping your data and using it for anything weird, and it's also not anything like identifiable or anything personal. It's just we'd want to know some more about what you guys are like. And then, as always, give us a rating on iTunes. That would help a ton. And follow me on Twitter. I'm Scott M. Owen. I think Frank has a Twitter that he never uses.
I don't have a Twitter.
Frank doesn't even have a Twitter. But so that would be great. Thanks for listening, and tell your friends. Until next time, I'm Scott Owen.
And I'm Frank Sarah.
And what's our password this week?
Our password this week is roll out.
I dig it. Roll